What's good? How y'all doing this evening? Welcome back to the Don's Favor on Forever I Love Atlanta Sports Podcast. It's your boy, the Don. I'm back this evening to talk about Joe Hortiz, the director of college scouting for the Baltimore Ravens, potential GM in the league. Hopefully, Arthur Blank and Rich McKay can bring this man in for an interview. But I got a Ravens expert writer. Well, he soon to be expert writer, David Baker. Let everybody know who you are, man, and where they can find you.
Hey, man, appreciate you for having me on. Like you said, my name is Davis Baker. I'm a journalism student at the University of Georgia. I currently cover UGA basketball right now, as well as I'm a contributor for Ebony Bird, which is the Ravens fan-sided NFL page. So we get a good mix of college sports and NFL, both. And you can follow me on Twitter at _DB_7.
They want to know, man. I'm sure the people want to know, like, how in the world are you a Ravens fan in Atlanta, even though people know that Atlanta is a transit city?
I mean, like you said, man, the whole dad side of the family's from Baltimore. I was up there 2 weeks ago. And NFL culture up there is just way different. I don't really know how to describe it, but, growing up watching Ray, Ed, T-Sizzle, all those guys up to, Flacco, Ray Rice, Torrey Smith, it was just such a great football culture. So, I always had appreciation for the Falcons because I was in Atlanta, but, my heart was always with the Ravens.
All right. That's what's up. All right. Hey, if you're new to the channel, y'all already know what to do. Hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Share this content out of Atlanta Sports Fanatics. And hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. All right. So, Joe Hortiz, he started in Baltimore in 1999.
Yep, right. 98.
98? Okay, 98. I thought it was 99 for some reason. All right, so he came in there in 99. So that was before y'all hired who was the head coach at that time? Brian Billick.
That was even before Billick, right?
Uh-huh. Y'all still had Ozzie Newsome. Ozzie Newsome been the GM.
Yeah, so Ozzie was the first GM. Ozzie had 2 Hall of Famers in his first draft ever, which is, still a feat that I don't know if we'll ever see, right, with Ogden and Ray Lewis.
Yep.
So, Ozzie's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a general manager as well. He was just so tremendous for so many years.
Yeah. Just tell me something about Ozzie Newsome, man, because a lot of people know that this man, like, to me, his vision of talent is bar none, but at the same time, he had a team of scouters, and that's why I tell people all the time, you have a good GM that can work the cap and whatever that you can, but if you don't have a group of scouters and like people, like not even just just college scouters and pro scouters, like you're not going to be that successful.
Right. I mean, the Ravens have always tried to pride themselves on having one of the best scouting departments, and they like to use a mix of analytics without being overly analytic. You still want to see who can play ball, who can't. And I think that they normally do a really good job of weighing the two of those. Baltimore has a mantra, play like a Raven. And so I think that goes all the way through scouting to the players that they really want to find. They can really mold their vision for what they want for their team. And we've seen that over the years, especially, I mean, obviously, when you think of the Ravens, a franchise who's only 25 years old, 2 Super Bowls, multiple playoff appearances, you think grit, you think defense. So it really just starts with Ozzie. He had a vision for what he wanted, built one of the greatest defenses of all time in his first 5 years, basically. And then, he learned to adapt, which I like about the Ravens as well. I don't think they're necessarily one of those stubborn organizations like the Cowboys, like where
Jerry Jones,
right? It's his way or the highway, right? So the Ravens have been willing to adapt, like you said. Branching out one of the bigger scouting departments in the NFL, and it's just worked so well. So Ozzie is, like I just said, he's going to go into the Hall of Fame as a general manager as well because of how great a job he did for over 20 years.
I agree. I agree. That's the thing about Ozzie. He knew that he knew the identity he wanted to do, and he stuck with it.
Yep.
Like other GMs, they see something that don't work for 2 years, and guess what? They switch it up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, by drafting Ray Lewis, then Jonathan Altman, you had your quarterback on defense, and then you had somebody, that big mountain of a man, like great in pass protection and in the run, and to me, I feel like that 2000 defense was the best defense of all time. We talk about 85 Bears, you talk about the 2013 Seattle Seahawks. Even a lot of people forget about that 2003 Patriots team, which had
they were stacked
well,
too.
So, but like,
I mean, it's tough. It's tough to argue against that 2000 defense. Like you said, the 85 Bears is normally like the go-to argument, but I might be a little bit biased, but I would definitely take that 2000 defense. I mean, if you just remember the Super Bowl, they absolutely dominated the Giants that year.
Yeah, they did. So Joe Hortiz. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah. So Joe Hortiz, all right, started in '98. All right. Yep. Now when he came in, he worked in the pro and college scouting staff. He was one of Ozzie Newsome's I ain't gonna say right hand man, but he was one of his henchmen.
Oh, absolutely.
Looking at a lot of people talk, and I tell people, I said Hortiz, like his by trade, he's a college scouter, but he also had his hand in pro scouting as well in the free agency. Not only that, people talking about, well, we need somebody here in Atlanta to manipulate the cap like Thomas Dimitrov did. I'm like, Hortiz had that. He had experience too.
Right. No, I mean, like you said, he was very high up in Ozzie's regards, and now he's even higher with Eric DaCosta. And I mean, just look at the past few drafts. Like the 2018 draft was, I mean, just loaded. Like the Ravens, that's an A+ draft. I mean, they didn't miss it all. You have Hayden Hurst, who's a starting caliber player, an MVP in Lamar Jackson, a Pro Bowl player in Orlando Brown, a Pro Bowl tight end in Mark Andrews. You had a 4th-round pick, Kenny Young, who turned into Marcus Peters. You had a 6th-round pick, Deshaun Elliott, who's now a starter. And you had a 6th-round pick in Bradley Bozeman, who's also a starter and is playing at a high level. So, these are personnel decisions that he's more involved in. The more the years go by, the more that we've seen Hortiz, up in, how they regard him. And now he's director of player personnel. So he's really done a great job. He's highly regarded within everybody in the organization. And, I think DaCosta kind of leans on him now as his right-hand man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he has an eye for talent. Like you look at what he did, like look at so from 98 to 2006, he was a regional scout. All right. But after that 2006 season, he became a national scout for the whole country.
Right. And so he's seen it all.
Yeah, he's seen it all. He knows where talent's at. So they moved him he was Big Ten, Big East scouter. Then they moved him out to the Pac-12.
And he did SEC as well. So he's been everywhere.
Yeah, he went to Auburn. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
He went to Auburn. So matter of fact, like when he had his first draft in 2007, their first round draft pick, Grubbs. He was in Auburn.
Yeah, Ben Grubbs.
Hortiz, yep. Yeah, Hortiz picked this guy. All right. And that was from his focus area that he had the scout in. And then in 2008, he, Joe Flacco, y'all, the quarterback. And look, I'm a Matt Ryan fan, and I'm going to tell y'all like it is. Matt Ryan is the better quarterback out of that draft class. It just, Flacco, let's be real. Flacco had a good defense. He did.
Flacco had a good defense to start his career. He did when he went to the AFC Championship his first year. But the year we won the Super Bowl, that was a 17th ranked defense. Joe Flacco was the guy going 12 touchdowns, no picks in the playoffs.
Y'all defense turned up. Like if you look at the playoffs and how y'all defense played, though, y'all offense did put up points. I give y'all that.
But I don't know. They gave up 31 to Denver. They gave up 20 something to the Patriots, and then what did we win the Super Bowl?
Almost blew the lead. Y'all almost
exactly. So
the lights went off. But like
you got it.
But still, you finished though.
Exactly.
Like we know how the Falcons defense though is. But
Matt Ryan is the better quarterback. I mean, that's been seen. We're seeing Matt Ryan still play at a high level. Joe Flacco is a backup for Sam Darnold on a winless team. So I'm not debating that, but I'm saying like in there, like big game quarterback, I'll take Flacco just because I've seen him win more big games than Matt Ryan.
Well, look, we're gonna agree to disagree. On that.
Right. I mean,
if Matt Ryan, this is the thing about Matt Ryan never had an average or better defense. That's never
That's
had
true, but Matt has always had the weapons, man, and he
but
plays offense.
but if you ain't
Matt
got
has
a defense,
always had the weapons.
but if you don't have a defense,
I
what
feel
happens
you,
when you don't
but
have a
like they
defense?
were there. They were there.
Y'all just
Like,
been just Ravens fans has been spoiled for years with a good defense, and like this is
I
one
mean,
of
you're
the
not
reasons,
wrong.
and this is one of the reasons why I'm going off Hortiz and I'm segueing to head coach. My head coach choice for the Falcons would be Don Martindale.
Okay, that's interesting because I was thinking for the Falcons, I would think more offensive base. I mean, obviously you know the Falcons better than I do, but I would think with the weapons that you have, you would want more of an offensive base, not necessarily Eric Bieniemy, because I know that's the first name people think, and people don't realize Mahomes, Tyreek, and Travis Kelce are not coming with him.
Exactly, and
like you
and the Reed's not coming either.
Exactly. Who calls? Yeah, right. Exactly. Who calls the plays? So I do think Eric Bieniemy does deserve a shot because he had they've done such a good job on offense in Kansas City. I mean, they really, and I think we're going to continue to see it for years to come. But Don Martindale's an interesting name, man. I don't know if I like that for the Falcons because Wink, that's his nickname, Wink Martindale.
Yeah,
people don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Wink is very blitz reliant. He blitzes more than anybody in the NFL, and I think what helps him is that he has Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters. He had Earl Thomas back there last year, so I don't know if it would be difficult for the Falcons. I mean, we'll see what they do with their first round pick, but let's say they took like a Patrick Surtain and you had first year Patrick Surtain and second year AJ Terrell, they would really have to step up. And, that would be a challenge. That's what you picked them in the first round for. But I don't know. I think that, Wink is an interesting name. If he went to the Falcons, I'd be happy for him, but I want to know why you think that would be a successful hire.
Because we need defense. And here's the thing. We talk about Dan Quinn, the former defensive-minded head coach for the Falcons, and then Mike Smith before him. Those guys was never proven. Like they never was proven because look who's the head coach out there in Seattle, Pete Carroll, defensive-minded head coach. All right. You go to Jacksonville when before Mike Smith came here in Atlanta, Jack Del Rio, defensive-minded head coach.
That's a good point.
That's the thing. Those coordinators, when they was coordinators, they wrote the coattails off their head coach. Like Don Martindale is a proven defensive minded.
Yeah, he runs the whole defense. I mean, Harbaugh's a special teams guy, like you said. Exactly. I mean, it would certainly be interesting. I definitely think last year, if you would have asked me this question, I would have definitely said that I think Greg Roman on offense would get a job before Wink. But this year, I definitely think that Martindale is going to be a candidate to leave somewhere. I don't know whether it'll be the Falcons or not, but
I feel like he should be here with the Falcons. I think like he doesn't look. We have an offense. The problem with the offense right now is the play calling, man.
I agree, man. You got to get Dirk Cutter out of there.
That's the thing. Everybody, it's Matt Ryan's fault. It's not Matt Ryan's fault. It is not Matt Ryan's fault. Our offense is trash. It's the play calling. If you get a better play caller out in here, I think we'd be fine. Like I said, I like the duo of Don Martindale as head coach, and then you bring in a guy like Dino Babers from Syracuse as an offensive coordinator. Yeah, I think that'd be a good duo right there. And then you can your DC if they're gonna fire if Denver's gonna fire Vic Fangio, that'd be a good.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because they pretty much almost run the same type of style of defense. It's just Don Martindale blitz a lot more.
I do want to see Raheem stay though, and so I think he's done a good job. No, okay.
We can't look. Put it like this here. Say for instance, John Harbaugh had 3 losing seasons straight back to back. All right, and y'all lose to the Steelers all the time. Look? Come on now, no,
nah.
Warriors lost 2 times to the Saints. He had 2 chances to steal his fate to Atlanta, and he failed both times miserably.
I mean, we lost the Steelers twice this year. I mean,
everybody gonna take an L with the Steelers, man, except for Washington. I don't know how that happened.
That's crazy. But I do think that Wink could bring a culture to Atlanta that we don't really see right now. Because players will swear by him. I mean, the players, they absolutely love Wink. They trust him. If you watch press conferences, even after we lose, people will be like, is there something wrong with the game plan? They'll be like, no, we trust Wink. We just didn't execute or whatever.
Exactly.
And sometimes he's too bold. Like, we kind of got exposed against Kansas City this year. We were blitzing too much, and Patrick Mahomes was just beating us over the top through some beautiful balls. But I think structure is what the Falcons need. So you're talking about two guys with the Ravens, Hortiz who come in, and then potentially wing two. I mean, either one of those two, I think it could help with the culture in Atlanta, because that's what the Ravens have really like done so well with. I mean, because Baltimore is a, it's a mid-level market. It's not it's not LA, it's not New York. It's not, players aren't just going there because of the city of Baltimore. I mean, I love it to death, but
it's the culture. It's the
exactly,
culture.
exactly.
It's the standard. Like you have a standard. You have a culture. You have an identity. Like you know what's going to happen when you go there. Like here in Atlanta, like we don't know what we want to. We have all these weapons on offense because Thomas Dimitroff, his philosophy when he drafted players, he wanted to build an offensive juggernaut. Okay, that's cool and all, but what about the other side of the ball? Right. It's cool to score. It looks nice. People gonna buy tickets to see you score 30, 40 points a game.
Absolutely.
But if you can't stop nobody, what's the purpose of having a weapon?
Yeah, that's a good point.
If you don't know how to aim it.
Absolutely, right? No. And that's always been my like confusion with the Falcons, because they have so many weapons. I mean, look at them on paper. I mean, their offensive line isn't great, but you got Matt Ryan, Todd Gurley, Hayden Hurst, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, Russell Gage, even if you want to add him in. I mean, that should be able to go at least 500 with, you feel like.
But when you have coaching, the coaching is the problem in Atlanta. Coaching.
No, I agree.
In the GM, you get rid of those. You bring in somebody, like I said, like a Don Martindale, and then you bring in a GM who knows how to draft. Like this is going back to Thomas Dimitroff. He never wanted to address the trenches. That's one thing about Joe. So that's one thing about Joe Hortiz. This man always doggone drafting in the trenches. Y'all got good players in the trenches, and I'm about to keep like in 2009. Y'all drafted Michael Orr from Ole Miss. Yeah, like, that was a big, huge thing that you guys needed right there. And I know it wasn't. That's the thing. A lot of Falcons fans, we, and I'm not putting myself in that category. I'm just speaking behalf of them.
No.
Like they want flash. Yeah, they want flash.
Everyone does, right?
They don't want substance. They want, oh man, we need to get this wide receiver. Some Falcons last year in the draft, oh man, we need to get CD Lamb. Why
like the Cowboys didn't even need him either. Right, exactly. The Cowboys didn't need him either. So they fell into that trap. But you're definitely right about that.
We don't need. But we need some linemen. We need some linemen and some pass rush. That's what we need.
And linemen that work out too. Because when you guys took Jake Matthews, he was what, definitely top 10. What was he, 6th overall?
Something like that. And then the Titans got Taylor Lewan and looking real good. But that also goes back to development too. Like the Falcons have never also, like, we had Mike Tice for what, a year, I believe, one season, and the offensive line real good. But when Smith and the company got fired, they didn't retain Tice.
Gotcha.
And we brought in Kyle Shanahan and his guys. And I really do feel like if they would have kept Mike Tice, we would have been fine. We would have been fine. Because, that was the same year that Bruce Matthews, Jake's dad, he was there and Tulin, mentor his son and everything. And he had conversations with Mike Tice and stuff. And that's why I said, like, you have to have continuity. And that's the one thing. And that's another thing the Falcons ain't never had, because Matt Ryan, every 2 years, we're going to have a new offensive coordinator, because those coordinators are going to leave and go to greener pastures because of Matt Ryan putting up numbers. So, I
mean, we've seen that all the way from Shanahan to LaFleur when he was the QB coach. I mean, you see these guys all over the league now. But I will say the trenches are big. I mean, 2016, I remember we were coming off 5-11 season because Flacco was out for the year, and we were picking 6th, and that was the draft where like Zeke went 4 and Jalen Ramsey went 5, and everybody wanted the Ravens to trade up for Jalen Ramsey. They're like,
y'all got Ronnie Stanley though. Ronnie Stanley,
and exactly, and Ronnie Stanley has ended arguably the best player in that class, first team All Pro, and people don't realize how big the left tackle is. I mean, that's why the Ravens had the cheapest offense in the NFL last year and were a top 10 offense statistically of all time, because
y'all got a line.
It was the offensive line. You had 3 Pro Bowlers, 2 All Pro players, and MVP quarterback. That's all you needed. You didn't need. I mean, we had Hollywood Brown as a rookie. That was our go-to receiver, and we didn't even need him. We were just using tight ends and running the ball behind a great line. So like you said, trenches are huge.
And that's the thing. You when you don't win in the trenches, you're not winning anything.
Oh, absolutely.
And
Because
then,
we've seen that this year. That's been one of the Ravens' biggest issues this year. I mean, when Marshall Yonder retired, that's an all-pro player. I think he made the Pro Bowl, like over 10 times. So
yeah, he did.
We've struggled to replace that position. Obviously, Ronnie Stanley going out for the year. Zeus Orlando Brown has had to swing over to the left side, and he's done fine over there. But now the right side of the line is just a whole mess. So that's a big part of why the Ravens are not on track to go 14-2 again this year.
Y'all are drafting another lineman in the draft.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think Wyatt Davis out of Ohio State is definitely going to be top of that board. But like you said, Hortiz knows who he wants to go after. Back to that conversation. I mean, last year we needed linebacker, and he said, I'm probably going to go after – he didn't say that word for word, but he was like, I'm basically probably going to go after Patrick Queen or Kenneth Murray. And Patrick Queen fell to 28, took Patrick Queen, and he's going to be top 5 in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting.
Thanks to Don Martindale.
Yep.
Martindale, he knows about linebackers. That's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
He knows linebackers.
Yeah, the Ravens have always drafted him well. You had Ray for so long, then you drafted C.J. Mosley, who made the Pro Bowl. He just got paid too much money, and then so now you replace him with Patrick Queen, and I could definitely see him making a Pro Bowl in the future.
Exactly. All right. 2011. This is how y'all draft was in 2011. Y'all selected Jimmy Smith, Torrey Smith, and Pernell McPhee.
Yep.
And then y'all drafted also Tyrod Taylor, which not too shabby for a 6th-round pick.
I mean, he was serviceable. I mean, he was a good backup for us. I'm glad he got his opportunity elsewhere.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
No. Go ahead. I mean to cut you off.
I was just saying that year mostly, that was one year that I seen that y'all drafted a lot of skill players, but that worked out because the next year, y'all drafted Courtney Upshaw. I'm a huge fan of Courtney Upshaw. He played here for the Falcons when we went to that Super Bowl. Highly serviceable.
Right, yeah, solid player.
You plug him in on the D line. Y'all also got Kelke awesomely, and then Bernard Pierce, and that was y'all Super Bowl year right there.
Yeah, it was. 2011 was a big draft because we should have probably won the Super Bowl that year as well. We went to the AFC Championship. Lee Evans dropped a ball with less than a minute to go in the end zone. Billy Cundiff has to come on to tie the game, misses it. A lot of coulda, shoulda, woulda in Foxborough. We know how the Patriots, sometimes luck just swings their way. But like you said, I mean, Jimmy Smith, to see a corner play almost 10 seasons now with the same team is pretty rare. And he's playing at a very high level this year. I mean, he gets hurt a lot. But when he's on the field, Jimmy Smith is, still as solid as they come.
Yeah.
So to still have him, Torrey Smith, a guy from Maryland, everybody loved him, helped win that Super Bowl. Pernell McPhee's a guy still on the roster. He's the veteran of that defense. He's the vocal leader. So I think that really goes back to just culture guys, like Jimmy Smith is a guy that John Harbaugh swears by. Pernell McPhee is the guy breaking down the huddle right before kickoff every game. So these are, like we said, like culture players that you really want. And so I think that's part of, getting those guys in, them adapting quick, seeing what a Super Bowl is like, and then continuing that tradition from there, even though we haven't made it back since 2013. We're now starting to get close again, which is nice.
Yeah. All right. Hey, y'all, everybody in the live chat, appreciate y'all joining us right now on Friday evening. I know there's a lot of things y'all can be doing right now, but y'all sitting here listening about Joe Hortiz, who can possibly be our next GM, hopefully. I just hope we stay away from doggone Louis Riddick. But anyway, I just don't like Louis Riddick. But
no
guys, share this out, you guys. Share this out. Man, look, man, what he did in Philly, that dream team he built, and then they went 8-8. Come on now, like no. And then he talks badly about Matt Ryan. Like, look, you trade away Matt Ryan, we gonna eat a lot of dead cap.
Yeah, no, I did. I saw your tweet. Like too many Falcons fans try to play Madden franchise with the Falcons.
That's what they're trying to do. Like this ain't a video game. Like this ain't Madden.
I do agree with that.
And somebody right here now talking about, so it's time to move on from Matt Ryan and start drafting for the future. Come on now. Like, y'all sitting up here saying some dumb stuff tonight. Don't start this trade Matt Ryan or get rid of Matt Ryan. We can't do that. You trade him away, we still got to pay this man.
Right.
Point blank. You still got to pay this man all this money. We're going to be 60-something mil in dead cap. How are we going to rebuild with that? Ain't no
and
point. Oh, we can keep Matt Ryan and you just draft his. So we gonna have somebody that's getting paid 15 to 16 mil just sit on the bench. Makes no sense to me at all.
yeah,
Biggest
and then
problem right now is defense.
No, I agree completely. I mean, and that's what you need to address in the draft. People are like, let's. I saw somebody say draft Justin Fields, and I was like, bro, come on now.
Just feels like you read the doggone defense.
I mean, I'm a big fan, but like you said, that's not the Falcons' problem right now, man.
Exactly.
Matt Ryan at worst is a top half of the league quarterback. You can argue top 10, but at worst he's still in the top half of the league when it comes to quarterbacks.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. I'm not stunned these people with these dumb takes on Matt Ryan. What's good, Saul? I know Knight, man. I'm tired of the Eric me hype too, man. Yeah, Saul, I don't like. Yeah. Matt Ryan is not the problem. Every Falcons want to rebuild. Anytime we lose, we need to rebuild. Mm-hmm. Rebuild is not easy. Look at the Jets.
At all.
Look at the
exactly.
Jets and Dolphins. They've been rebuilding for doggone 20 years.
Right.
And they still ain't done nothing.
That's why I think like retooling is better than rebuilding. Don't just throw like when the Ravens had to get rid of Flacco. Like John Harbaugh was 2 losses away from losing his job. In 2 years ago, 2018, before Lamar started. Flacco was 4-5 at the bye week. It was like, oh, all right. I mean, this is it. Like Flacco's Harbaugh's guy. He's not going to change. He throws Lamar in there, and he's like, just change up the offense completely. I mean, we're running a college offense. It's like a read option every play, but it works so well. And then from there, obviously, Greg Roman completely was dynamic with it last year. Won coordinator of the year. Great. I mean, we all know about that 14-2, but I think retooling can really be better than rebuilding in a lot of situations, especially when you have talent like the Falcons do.
Exactly. And then let's keep going, man. 2014, I know y'all drafted CJ Mosley.
Yeah.
13, y'all drafted Brandon Williams. That right there,
big baby.
That's somebody we need for the Falcons if we're trying to run a 3-4. Brandon Williams, this man is an unsung hero on y'all team. I ain't just talking about the defense on the team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, he really does not get the credit he deserves. I mean, he was playing with Michael Pierce as well, if you know who that is. Just signed with the Vikings this past summer, but big dude, 350 pounds. So they were just, completely stuffing the run. Obviously, we have Calais Campbell now, so him and Brandon Williams have played really well together so far. They've just kind of been injured at separate times, but Brandon Williams has been a great pick and another locker room guy that everybody likes.
Yep, and then y'all drafted Rick Wagner that year, and then Kyle Jaszewski. I'm saying it wrong or whatever, but the fullback, he's at San Francisco now.
Yeah, and he's still a Pro Bowl player.
Exactly.
We just couldn't afford to pay a fullback, but it was still a great pick.
But that's the thing, man. I've been trying to say, man. Like y'all look at all these picks. This man done. Yeah. Like, he looked like he hit on 60% of the draft every single year. Like you're not going to be able to hit on all of your picks.
Right.
That's impossible because the whole draft is a crapshoot. So, you're going to have to at least hit on 60% of your draft. That's one thing we had a problem with Thomas Dimitroff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got graded Jared in 2015. But look who's our first round pick, Vic Beasley. Yeah, he made the Pro Bowl, All-Pro, player.
Yeah, the 1 year.
NFL sack leader. Yeah, right. It was an outlier. Okay. But outside of that, outside of graded Jared, who else was in 15? 16. We drafted Keanu Neal. We drafted Austin Hooper. We drafted who else we drafted that year? Debo, who's still Pro Bowl. 2016 draft did look good. It looked good. So that
when Keanu's healthy, he's a great player.
Yeah. 17. Oh Lord. We drafted Tack McKinley. Oh my goodness. We drafted Duke Riley.
Another swing and a miss.
Like we missed a lot in 2017. The only person I think we hit on we wouldn't even really a hit was KZ.
And that was the Super Bowl year, right? Yeah, KZ's been good. Yeah, he's been a good player.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. That was the year y'all went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that was the year after we went 16. 17,
that's right.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, you're right. You're right. The draft would have been right after that. You're right.
Exactly. Man, I hope we don't bring in no Louis Riddick in, man. That'd be the worst thing that happened to this team.
I just feel like he's been out of actually being a GM for a while.
Yeah, but my thing, everybody's hyping this man up. Like, if this man was really if Louis Riddick was really that good, why is he not a GM for the other teams in the NFL?
Right.
I've been asking this question all week. If Louis Riddick is that doggone good, why is he not a GM currently? You know how many teams have hired a GM since 2013?
Or at least as an assistant or something, like.
I'm telling you.
I don't know, man.
Man,
I don't know.
Like right now, the Lions is talking about interviewing Thomas Dimitroff for a job. I'm like, okay. I'm like, I had to laugh real hard on that. I'm like, yeah, y'all want our sloppy seconds? Okay,
that's a dysfunctional franchise.
Somebody, you still going to need a rebuild in 2 years anyway. No, you don't. You don't need a rebuild in 2 years. Like, what are y'all thinking that? Y'all thinking that Matt Ryan talent just fell off the earth? Like, the man is still playing at a high level. You just bring in a new play caller who would be creative and call the right plays for this man. You will see us being a top 10 defense, not top 10 offense again.
Mm-hmm.
We're not running the ball. When you don't run the ball, you're not gonna the offense is gonna be just vanilla. It's gonna be one dimensional.
Absolutely. No, I mean, I think that's what the Ravens were facing a little bit this year. Obviously reversed, where teams were stacking the box and they're only throwing in 15 and 89. And so Greg Roman was like, all right, I got to get a little more creative. And he's been better the past few games. But like you said, I think another Shanahan-type coordinator would help Matt Ryan big time.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, he hit 60% on draft every year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The only way the Falcons, and y'all talking about rebuild, we don't need to rebuild. We need to retool, like we've been saying for the past couple of years now. I've been wanting to get rid of Dan Quinn really since the end of 2018. We're keeping it 100. But hey, you don't get what you want all the time. So here we are. All right. This is what's going to happen with the Falcons. This is the best scenario for the Falcons to try to right the wrongs and hopefully find success and get a Super Bowl for the city, for Matt Ryan, for Julio Jones, especially for the owner, Arthur Blank, who done so much for the city. If we're going to acquire talent, it's going to have to be through the draft, you guys. Our cap situation right now is not looking good at all. Y'all can sit here, blame Matt Ryan all y'all want to, blame Julio Jones all y'all want to, blame Grady Jarrett all y'all want to, but guess what? We gave them the offer, they signed the contracts, they here. You cannot get rid of them because if you do, you're gonna hit dead cap. I told you guys, y'all gotta stop living in fantasy world, stop living in Madden 20-on-1 world. Like, this is real life. So in order for us to get better, we got to hit on some of these picks the next 2 years. If we have a good draft and you have a good GM who knows talent, who has an eye for talent, and then you have a head coach who can develop these players, what's the problem?
That's
asking somebody. I'm just asking somebody,
I mean, you're not lying.
So I'm not tripping.
No, not at all. No, I completely agree, man. The NFL, especially, you draft for talent. This isn't the NBA where you wait for whoever to become a free agent and then you sign them. I mean, look at our situation, for example. Like that 2018 draft class is what turned us, into a Super Bowl contender in 2019. I mean, three Pro Bowlers and an MVP in the first 4 picks.
And then y'all did some coordinator changes too.
Yeah, exactly.
Greg Roman, and then y'all put Don Martindale on the defensive coordinator, and y'all been top 10 defense since.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think both of those guys, but especially Wink, puts people in positions to succeed. And I think that's why, like, back to the culture thing, I wanted to talk about this earlier, but when you have basically the best free safety of the last decade on your roster and you cut him because he's not getting along with the teammate and you trust the next guy coming up, and obviously I'm referencing Earl Thomas, who was cut earlier this year, it just shows what the culture is. Like, if you don't fit it, you're gone. And the next guy up is going to succeed. And, Deshaun Elliott was a guy who was picked in the 6th round in 2018. And, he's played pretty well this year. I mean, he's not Earl Thomas, but, he's only 24 4 years old, and he's going to be a good safety for a while. So, it's like we said, it's about culture, it's about putting players in positions to succeed, and it's about drafting right.
And this is what we did. We got rid of Tat McKinley, but we had this man on the team too long.
I agree. I mean, the fact that the fact that he didn't get cut the day that he was making those tweets was like,
this man always on social media running his mouth. Like, I remember last year before we played the Vikings in the first game of the season, this man, 3 sacks, easy work. Man was quiet the whole game. And folks in Atlanta like this man, like for some reason. Tat, he a dog. Tat. It was especially last year, man. They were comparing Tat to Vic Beasley. I'm saying, well, Vic Beasley, you get some production out of Vic.
Right. I mean, he had one year where.
But yeah, even last year, Vic had 8 sacks. He had 8 sacks last year.
That's decent.
That's good. It ain't double digit. Everybody, but it's hard. It's hard for somebody to get double digit sacks. And sometimes them sacks can be misconstrued. Sometimes you can get 5 sacks on the lousy backup tackle.
Exactly, and
it happens.
Sacks don't always tell the story because of a QB's. That he sees the guy coming, he rushes the throw, and it's a pick. You'll take the pick over the sack any day.
Exactly.
That's why people. Ravens just traded for Ngakoue a couple weeks ago. He only has 1 sack, but he's making the one. We've played Ben Roethlisberger twice and Phillip Rivers, the 2 quarterbacks who throw the ball the quickest. So, sacks don't always tell the complete story because people have been on him. And I'm like, are you really watching the games? Because you can clearly see, he's getting off the left tackle every time, forcing him to get it out quicker.
Exactly. So, yeah, it was like last year, everybody was just talking about, Tat better. Tat got more heart than Vic. I'm like, if it ain't generating the production on the field, I really don't care.
Yeah, that
I got heart. Everybody got heart. Like, I don't care about that.
You didn't make it to the NFL without heart.
Exactly. So, my last question for you. So, do you see Joe Hortiz leaving Baltimore this year, or not even this year, next year, to become a GM? I know he's been with this organization for almost 20 years, over 20 years. And do you see it happening? Like, right now, a lot of teams hurting for GMs, good GMs. They need good GMs. And he's the top of that list. Him, Jeff Ireland, George Payton out of Minnesota. Those 3 guys, to me, can come in on any team and turn things around.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm not actually in the building, but I would say that it's probably going to take the right situation for him because he knows for however long he's in Baltimore, and I'm sure at some point he'll get promoted if he stays in Baltimore to assistant GM. And I think what may prompt him to leave is knowing that he won't actually be the GM because Eric DeCosta just got the job 2 years ago. He's not going anywhere. It'd be one thing if he was Ozzy's right-hand man right now, if he was the assistant and Ozzy was about to retire, obviously. But so I think it would take the right situation. Obviously, it's just a guess at this point, but I think the Falcons are, out of all the jobs that are available, the Falcons are probably 2 or 3 on that list. So they're towards the top. So
who's number 1?
I would say Houston because you got Deshaun.
That's all you have though. Like, is Deshaun?
But he's a transcendent player though.
But I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, yes, he's younger than Matt Ryan. He looks. Yes, I get it. But at the same time,
Deshaun just makes people around him better though. Because he does not have. He has a terrible O-line, no running game, decent receivers, and still makes it happen.
Look, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you on that, man. It's the time will tell with him. All right, time will tell with him. You got Pat Mahomes, who pretty much it ain't even close, the best quarterback out of that draft.
Easy.
And you got crappy Mitch Trubisky. I just feel like he wasn't developed well in Chicago. That's just my opinion.
Right. Well, and he didn't. He played 1 season in college. Like, teams should have wanted to see more out of him.
Exactly.
He shouldn't have been taken 2nd overall.
Exactly. And then you have Deshaun Watson. All right, Deshaun Watson, I get it. He can run, mobile quarterback. I get it. But to me, like, that Houston team, that Houston organization, like, I just feel like you look at the ownership. the GM has to look at the ownership, how the
No,
team
that's true.
ran it.
That's true.
Like Houston, Atlanta. Arthur Blank is like one of the better owners in the league right now. Like
I agree. Yeah, Arthur's liked.
yeah, he's
Yeah.
like a lot of owners. Like he has a lot of he get a lot of pull in the ownership as far as NFL ownership and stuff goes. But if I'm a GM, and I'm not trying to be biased because I'm a Falcons fan, but yeah, it'd be one on the list because you have a solid offense. You have like future Hall of Famers on that offense. Julio Jones, Matt Ryan. I don't know about Todd Gurley. Time will tell if he can, have a bounce back seasons or whatever. Hayden Hurst got a promising, future. He's still young. You still got Calvin Ridley on there. Like defense, you got some tools on there. You have Grady Jarrett. You got Deion Jones. If we decide to bring Keanu Neal back, because he's on his 50th option. You also have Foye Olakun looking
he's been playing well.
Like I said this when we drafted this man, because I watched the tape on him when he played at Yale. Like, man looks real good. And then you got AJ Terrell, who's getting nodded for the defensive rookie of the year. Like we have the thing. It's just been coaching. So if I'm Joe Hortiz, I'm looking like I ain't got that much to do here, like to turn this around. I could probably like turn this around just like that. It can be very similar to what happened in Indy a couple of years ago. They hired them a new GM, they got them a new head coach, and look, that first year they playoffs.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I mean, if he thinks that Atlanta's the right situation and he can do that, then I could definitely see him leaving because, like you said, I mean, as much as I hate to say it, but as much as we're being real, he's not going to be the GM in Baltimore. So if he gets a GM opportunity, I mean, that's what you work for. You want to be the general manager of a team. So I definitely think the Falcons are a good enough job to where if they offered him, he could. Wink is an interesting coaching.
What's good, Sam? I'm sorry, I had to say it. What's good, Sam?
No, you're good, bro.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. I know it's Atlanta sports, but you're a Titans fan. But hey, we welcome everybody. We talk ball no matter what, man. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but I mean, Wink is an interesting, like guy on the coaching search that we could see, but because I definitely do think he'll leave after this season. I think that's for sure because he made a comment last year. He was like, as a DC, you work to be a head coach. Like as a coach in general, you want to be a head coach. So I think he's just waiting on the right opportunity, and he'll take it, which he deserves.
He deserves it, man. Like he
Absolutely.
literally deserves it. Like for him doing this for the Ravens, and he's been a linebackers coach for a while, and he was an OC out there in Denver when McDaniels was out there. But like the man is good. All right,
yeah,
man is real good. What's your take between him and Rex Ryan style defense?
I mean, both very physical, both physical.
It's very similar. They both very similar.
Right. I mean, both very physical defenses, good outside play, good secondary play, tough in the trenches, great linebackers. I mean, obviously Ray was there and then CJ was there. And now we're trying to find that next middle linebacker to really hold down the defense. Hopefully Queen will be that guy. But not, like you said, very similar, not that many differences between the two of them. Both like kind of gritty guys that, locker room guys. So, I mean, they're really not that different. But Wink blitzes a little more than Rex did. But, Wink blitzes more than anybody, really.
Yeah. But I did a show I did 2 shows last year on Don Martindale, and I brought the Baltimore beatdown guy on, and I thought last year we was gonna fire Quinn and bring in Don Martindale, but Don Martindale had some attention last year with the Giants. The Giants was almost gonna hire him, and then they went to the Judge. I don't know why, but hey,
he's proven it.
Who, Judge?
Yeah.
He looking good up there. Like, but at the same time, I'm happy they get Martindale. I'm like, okay, because we fire Quinn. I said, okay, well, he'll be on the list this year.
The only thing I would worry about though is just like the talent differential. I mean, the Ravens have the most expensive defense in the NFL right now. When you've got your 4 up front are Ngakoue, Brandon Williams, Calais Campbell and Matthew Judon, that's a lot of pressure up front. And then when you realize that you got to either throw at Marcus Peters, who's a ball hawk, or Marlon Humphrey, who's one of the most physical corners in the league. He's like a linebacker and a cornerback body. I think that helps Wink a lot, and he knows he can blitz because, like I said earlier, because of the talent in the secondary. So it might be a little bit tougher in Atlanta. Like I said, we'll see. I mean, it'll make AJ Terrell grow up real fast. But that would be my only concern with hiring Wink.
Yeah. I understand. But yeah. But if he can hire him like I said, you hire Vic Fangio, who's an older, more polished, and he has experience now being a head coach to Atlanta, because you get fired as a head coach, you pretty much regulated back to DC until you can prove yourself again.
Yeah. True.
I think that'd be a good duo. Him, if not Vic Fangio, I think Steve Wilkes. I don't know what Steve Wilkes is right now.
I think he was in Cleveland. I don't think he's coaching this year because he was in Cleveland last year and they fired him after the season.
But I think Steve Wilkes can be deserving again. He was a great DB coach with Carolina. Josh Norman. You talk about his development down there. Like he had his own hands over there. So,
and I don't know if he had him at the same time, but James Bradbury for the Giants now, he was in Carolina as well. Yeah. He really developed there, and he's turned into a solid player up with the Giants.
Exactly. Well, I guess that's all we need to talk about. But I feel like Joe Hortiz should be the guy. I got some other guys on the list, but he's number one on my list. So appreciate you coming on.
Hey man, I appreciate it. I'd rather you not take Joe away from us, but
hey man, y'all gonna be all right. Y'all a world class organization, man. Y'all gonna find a way to make things work. Trust and believe.
That's what the Ravens have done, man.
Exactly. But let everybody know where they can find you, man.
Yeah. So again, Twitter at _DB_7, covering UGA hoops as well this year. If there's any UGA fans in here, I'll be
UGA fans.
So yeah, for sure. I'll have all the basketball coverage this year, and hopefully I'll be doing football as well next fall. So thanks so much, man, for having me on. It was great to talk about the Falcons, the Ravens, the NFL in general. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you again. And everybody who watching live, appreciate y'all joining us tonight. Make sure y'all share this out. If you're watching this at a later time, hit us up in the comment section. Let us know how you feel about Joe Hortiz being the GM. I know I'm going to get a lot of people talking about, we need Louis Riddick. Okay, put that in there too. All right, and then I'll reply back and like, no, we don't need Louis Riddick, and I'll give you my reasons why. But I'll be back tomorrow scouting Brian Schottenheimer for the OC for the Seattle Seahawks. Why did he need to be a head coach in the league? Will the Falcons interview him for the job? We'll see. Hey, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also hit that like button. Share this content out with Atlanta sports fanatics. And hit us up in the comment section. As always, come holler at your hometown sports podcast. This your boy The Dunn with another episode of The Dunn's Favor. Y'all have a great Friday evening. I'll see y'all later. Peace.